Mr. Zelensky is Jewish. And on top of that, there is no need for denazification because Jews, particularly here in Oman, have enjoyed a renaissance in terms of the huge numbers of pilgrims that have come to this sacred place where Rabbi Nachman of the Hasidic movement was buried. And this is how things look now, though. Air raid sirens in Oman. Civilians seeking shelter from Russian bombs in what Vladimir Putin says is partly a campaign to rid Ukraine of a Nazi leadership. The absurdity of this claim lost on no one here heading to the basement of a synagogue. The Jewish population of Ukraine has suffered terribly over the last few hundred years. It's had pogroms that have been inflicted on it by the Tsarist regime. It suffered miserably under Stalin, and of course the Jews here were murdered en masse by Hitler. The tomb of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov is a pilgrimage site for thousands of Hasidic Jews and has flourished under Ukraine's recent governments. Now the streets of its Jewish community are almost deserted, the result of Putin's so-called denazification program. The military site in the town was bombed on day one of the Russian campaign against Ukraine. Do you think Ukraine has a government of National Socialists, of Nazis? That is what Putin says.
No, I think there is, in Ukraine, you see that Ukraine in the last year, they give us to come to Rabbi Nachman. They don't make us problem.
I have been living here for 7 months, and it's been amazing, very loving and very caring to the Jewish people.
Putin's called on Ukraine's military to rise against the government, which he says is a gang of drug addicts and neo-Nazis who settled in Kiev and took the entire Ukrainian people hostage. On Tuesday, Russian bombing of Kiev's radio tower also damaged a Holocaust memorial at the Babi Yar, where more than 30,000 people were murdered in 1941. Many tens of thousands were murdered later. Now, Ukraine's Jewish president suggested that Putin is following Hitler's lead. He said this kind of a missile strike demonstrates that for many people in Russia, our Kiev is absolutely alien. They don't know anything about our capital, about our history, but they have an order to erase our history, to erase our country, to erase all of us. In Oman, the synagogue's underground mikveh bathing complex is a bunker for Jew and Gentile alike.
I knew that Oman is Jewish, but exactly this place where we are, I just know that it's a bomb shelter and it's safe to be here. That's why I am here.
Like many people in this town, Dasha and her family are joining an exodus out of Ukraine. For those left behind, there's little but the promise of a long, hard winter. Now, John, I think one of the importance of exploding some of these myths is to try and get back to the Russian people the idea that this is not a nation that is run by Nazis. It is not a nation that, certainly not in the recent last decade or more, has oppressed the Russian-speaking population here. And both of these have been motivations to try to get not just the armed forces moving, but the political landscape at least supporting this intervention or this invasion, as I should put it. And I think that's a very important aspect of this. And I think as the weeks wear on and Russian casualties start emerging and news of the numbers of Russians dying and being mutilated in this campaign get back to Russia, it's going to be harder and harder to continue to motivate troops to cross those borders and come and kill their neighbors, their cousins, John.
That is the Ukrainian hope, to be sure, that message will get back. Sam Kiley, very, very interesting report. Thank you.